Hi, I'm Jack Cool from Kaylee Radio, Cape Breton's internet radio station, and today I got a special guest with me, Dr. Christina Burns. Dr. Burns, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. So you have a new book out called The Ultimate Fraternity Guidebook, correct?
Yes, the Ultimate Fertility Guidebook.
Okay, excellent. And of course, it says right off the bat here, it says, now I didn't know this. I don't, number one, I don't have, to be very clear, I don't have any children. Do have a girlfriend though. 85% of the women get pregnant. I would have thought 100%. So, whoa, it's less than that. So, I guess my first question is, um, does this method work? Obviously, it does because Kristen Jordan from Million Dollar Listing, New York City, what NYC, has had 3 children using your method, and so it must work. So I guess my first question would be, how did you basically decide to write a book on that? And is it a method you've always used?
Yeah, so I wrote a book on it because I've been using the method for 20 years, and I've had a lot of success with it. And it's really there are a lot of women trying to get pregnant. 1 in 8 couples actually has trouble, so it's a pretty big number. Like, a lot of women and couples are having trouble getting pregnant. And when you look at the success rates of conventional medicine, like IVF, for example, which is in vitro fertilization, the most common route that people will take to try to get pregnant if they're not getting pregnant naturally, the success rates of this method are incredibly low. Particularly as we get into our 40s, we're at, like a 5% success rate with in vitro fertilization. And it's extremely expensive and it's a lot to go through. And so I have been working with fertility patients for a number of years, whether they're trying naturally or whether they're going with a fertility doctor at the same time and doing in vitro fertilization. And it seems to really improve their chances of getting pregnant. Not only that, it helps them be healthier and happier as they're going through this difficult time.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. Um, Once again, I don't have any children, but I mean, my heart goes out to people who can have a method that can work without going through all this other stuff. I mean, that sounds great. Really does.
Yeah, I mean, it really would be wonderful if more people had the opportunity to learn how to work with their body and their hormones and do this naturally. It's not something that we're taught in school at all. As women, we're not trained about our bodies. I don't think men are very in touch either. And so, you get to a certain age and you're like, okay, let's give this the old college try. And then it doesn't work for 1 in 8 couples. And so it's a very, very stressful thing to go through. And so I wrote this book, for all the people going through this stressful time, for, to help empower them on their journey and hopefully get them what they want, that baby.
Well, I think that's a great idea. And as I said before, if a method like this can work without going through all this other stuff, I mean, amen, like excellent.
Exactly, exactly. So that's my goal. And even if they are going through this other stuff, these other methods, the more scientific approach to conception, the idea is that this book will help them improve their odds of success because this more scientific approach, this conventional approach, doesn't have great success rates as it is.
Wow. Now, do all your books deal with the same method or
This is actually my first book, and it was such a nightmare to write a book that I don't know if I'll publish another one.
oh yeah.
That was like, I don't know. I actually have 3 children with this method, but I don't know, that the process of writing a book is really arduous. I'm not sure I'll have the courage to do it again. So hopefully this one will help a lot of people, and then maybe in 10 years I'll try again.
Well, exactly. And of course, it's going to be released February the 3rd of this year. And of course, March 3rd, I should say. Actually, March 21st, mind you, it's going to be released, not February the 3rd. I'm thinking of something else here. March 21st, it will be released, ladies and gentlemen. and of course, Roman Littlefield Publishing. And I think is that what you're part of? Yeah.
Yes, it's a Roman Littlefield. It's an academic publisher. Actually, they publish a lot of academic books, but it's a subsidiary of Globe Pico, which is a big publisher. And this like smaller sort of brand within it called Prometheus is publishing my book. So it's like lifestyle and alternative medicine and self-helpy kind of thing. And that's what this is. It's a very detailed self-help book. And but it also cites a bunch of research, the things that have worked in herbal medicine and nutrition, and how that works alongside conventional medicine.
Oh, okay. And you think
Mhm.
of people out there who are in relationships who try to have children, but his partner just can't get pregnant. And
Mhm.
they're going through all these drugs for years and
Mhm.
not knowing that there could be a method out there that could work.
Yeah, well, it's like the stuff that you won't learn at your fertility doctor. That's what's in this book, like all like a bunch of like clinical sort of experience on my end and wisdom in ancient Eastern traditions that, brought this book to life. But it's like people think that, if they have a fertility issue, they're just going to go to the fertility doctor and do these injections, do these drugs, and do these procedures, and then they're going to have a baby. And I have actually a fertility podcast, and I just interviewed a patient recently, and she said, "Yeah, I went to the fertility doctor thinking, I'd be done in a few months, and I'd be pregnant, and everything would be fine." And 3 years later, she's still at it, and has nothing to show for it. So that's what is happening. There's a lot of people out there. I've had patients come to me that have been trying for 10 years to have their baby, and it's not because they started too late. It's not that they did anything wrong. It's just that infertility, just like a heart problem, just like an issue with your nervous system, with your back or anything. It's just a health condition, and some people have it and some people don't.
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
And before I was educated more on this stuff, you would think at the age, for example, at the age of 45, having a child, that, oh my God, what if my child has complications here? Well, there could be complications even if you're in your 20s with with a woman having a child, but they say it's a greater risk when the woman is when the man is older. So but the thing is, what I've learned now is they have medicines out there that can detect it early and check and see if the child is going to be healthy or not so healthy. But with this method that you have out now, you can skip all that stuff.
I don't know if you can skip all that stuff. I think it works
In a way,
together.
in a way.
So like,
Oh,
the aim is to make both the male and the female healthier. Now, if you look at research, you'll see that is an increase in complications with an older father or an older mother.
yeah.
Men fathering children over the age of 40, there's an increase in children with autism, for example. Women being trying to mother a child, into the 40s will generally result in a higher rate of miscarriage, more problems with fertility, and potentially complications with the pregnancy, preeclampsia, which is high blood pressure with your pregnancy, bleeding, this kind of thing. So we cannot beat the clock. We can't.
No.
But what we can do is reduce the chance of issues. So generally, with my method, it's a very healthy lifestyle that's recommended, and a lot of antioxidants are recommended, and this reduces inflammation and free radical damage on the cells of our eggs and of our sperm, which generally, in theory, would make it so that the DNA, the deeper cellular effects, wouldn't be as bad. So it reduces the chance of having issues with the pregnancy, with the child. But I cannot tell you that it'll do it 100%. And the testing that's available during pregnancy and the early pregnancy is helpful, for you to find out if there's an issue.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And no, I want
Mhm.
to be very clear on what I said there. No, I mean, you don't skip the parts where you have your wife or wife to be checked out when you're both having a child, because no, making sure that the child and mom are healthy is should always be your 100% priority.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, you know, it's just like that's you know, part of the point of this method is like, you know, healthy mom, healthy dad, healthy family, healthy child. Like it's like, you know, better preparing the woman for pregnancy so that everything, you know, hopefully goes smoother and that she's learned something that will help her family forevermore.
Oh, exactly. And
Mhm.
having a child later, there is a chance of that child be having autism, but there's also a chance of them having Down syndrome too, being the child being Down syndrome. But there's also that chance, and I know this firsthand. I know some people who've had a child, and the mother was 45 when she had her child, and that child today is in his 60s, and he does not have Down syndrome. He is healthy as anything. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
No, it's definitely they're like statistically there's a higher incidence of issues, but there's issues at any age. Like you can't go into, you know, having a child like thinking about like the likelihood of you having an issue. You either decide you're gonna go for it or you don't, right?
exactly.
And no matter what age you are, you're assuming the risk, right? It's why some people don't want to have kids, which I can understand that too, right? But you know, an autistic child is still a wonderful child, and a child with Down syndrome is still a wonderful child. So it's really what's right for the family.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And I support any decision people make.
Like, or special needs, like myself, for
Yep.
example. I mean,
Mhm.
I turned out, great. I mean, I got a promising future as an interviewer. I'm interviewing great people like you today, and I'm promoting. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm doing great, for example. So, I mean, I always let every person I'm interviewing know about me as well. So that way,
That'd be great. I would love to know more about you.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm special needs. I mean, my dream was always to interview great people like you and promote. So I'm doing that now, so I'm fulfilling that now. So, which is a good thing, and which is a positive.
Absolutely.
So there you go. There you go.
Mhm.
So March 21st, ladies and gentlemen, check out Dr. Christina Burns' new book, The Ultimate Fraternity Guidebook. It's going to be in stores. What can I say? Dr. Burns, I'd like to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me this afternoon. I really appreciate that. Special thanks always to Roger Neal, publicist of a lot of great people, including Dr. Christina Burns. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jack. This was really great.
Have a great day.
You too.